Hello there guys, and welcome to the channel with me, Sneaky Blinder. So welcome back everyone. For those of you who have been with the channel since we started, you'll notice that I have something a bit different loaded up today. So we're jumping into Planet Zoo. So look, I'm really late to this game. I've only recently discovered it, but I've fallen in love with it very, very quickly. So I thought I'd give it a crack at doing some content in this game as a bit of a sideline to our sort of city skylines content that we create. But yeah, I'm really loving this game, so I thought I'd give it a whirl. So welcome to anyone new to the channel who is a big Planet Zoo fan. It is great to have you here. Look, I'm going to be honest, straight off the bat, I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing with this game. I've been fiddling around with it a little bit, falling in love with it. But look, I really want to do this, one, because I enjoy playing it, but two, I want to get involved in the community and start hearing some hints and tips of how I can improve and start seeing what you guys are building. Yeah, so a little bit of an intro on why we are doing this. But basically, this series is going to be a franchise mode. It's not going to be me explaining things. As I say, I'm quite late to the game anyway, and I'm definitely not an expert. So I'm literally just going to be playing it. It's going to be a let's play series. We want to build some fantastic zoos, hopefully. And yeah, let's just see how we go and if it's something that you guys enjoy. So anyway, let's dive in, shall we? So we're going to come over to franchise mode over here. And full disclosure at this stage, I have been messing around, as I said, and I've done some research in the background, mostly sort of mechanic research, just to get some sort of research done so I can start building straight off the bat for you guys. But other than that and a few sort of vet research items, I've not done much, so I've just been fiddling around with it really. So we're going to create our first zoo. So our franchise is going to be known as the Sneaky Zoology, and yeah, each zoo will have its own individuality, but within the Sneaky Zoology brand. So the way I want to see this franchise working is we're going to set up zoos in individual areas around the world, and we're going to very much base our animal population around those specific areas. So for instance, if we're in a European theme, we're going to have animals from Europe within that zoo. We might branch out within those zoos to have certain sections, for instance African animals within a European zoo, but it's going to be predominantly animals from that area or biome, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, that's just a little bit about how this franchise is going to work. So look, I'm from Europe. Well, I'm not from Europe, I'm from the UK, which is technically no longer within Europe. We won't discuss that in too much detail, but anyway, so I'm going to start in a European theme, and I want to kick off in a temperate biome because it's probably closest to the biome that I am currently living in. So yeah, we want to come into temperate and then select Europe, and then this is where it's going to place us over here. And I believe, if my geography is correct, that is that Austria, maybe? Austria, Croatia? We'll go with Austria. I think that's around there somewhere. So our first zoo is going to be within Austria, and obviously within the Sneaky Zoology zoo franchise, this is going to be our sort of, not our flagship, but our first zoo, and where we kick things off. So when we name the zoo, I'm going to keep it sort of consistent across all of the zoos that we have within the franchise. And because we're Sneaky Zoology, I'm going to call this one SZA, so the Sneaky Zoology Association, Austria. Okay, so any geography people in the comments, please let me know if I'm completely off. But yeah, I think Austria is around about there, but let's see. Cool, so let's jump in. Let's create our first zoo. Okay, welcome guys. So here we are in the beautiful zoo map that we've got here. So this to me looks like a sort of Middle England, the rolling hills. Yeah, I love this. Looks amazing, but I think this is going to give us nice sort of Austria vibes. Maybe a few more mountains in Austria, but yeah, we'll get the look. This is pretty good. So this is what we're going to be building on. And I've got some vision in mind of how I want this zoo to look already. Again, I'm going to note, I'm not good at this game. I am not good at this game. So bear with me, but I do have a vision of kind of what I want to build, and we will go from there. But yeah, this is kind of the first square that we're going to be working with. So let's just dive straight in. So what I want to do is use this sort of entranceway and create like a little plaza area here. So I'm going to quickly draw out a path network using the grid just to quickly get that placed in. So bear with me. Okay, cool. So yeah, I've just created this sort of initial opening plaza. So as you walk into the zoo, you're going to come through these turnstiles and into this plaza area. Eventually, we will have an info booth sort of here, maybe some toilets and some shops, and a building that is going to sort of sit at a bit of a 90-degree angle, sort of around this starting square, and have maybe a path through it coming out over here. But anyway. Yeah, probably getting ahead of myself already, but that is kind of the vision of what I want to see here. But it's going to give us a good starting board. So the first thing that we want to do is let's quickly grab some staff and just get some people in. So I'm sure most of you know, but you don't need all the staff to begin with. So I'm just going to hire a caretaker, a keeper, a mechanic, and a vet. So I may not even need the mechanic, to be honest. Let me know down in the comments what you think, how you start the game in terms of staff. But this tends to work for me in the tests that I've done so far. So you'll notice as well, keeping the game on pause because I don't want to hemorrhage money too early. Cool. So the next thing we want to do is quickly bring in some staff buildings. So for now, this is going to be very, very temporary, but I'm just going to place in some staff buildings over in this side of the map because we're not really going to build over here just yet, but we are going to need the buildings. So I just want to shift these trees out of the way. We will use them later. Again, let me know down in the comments how you start. I may not need all of these buildings straight off the bat, but you know, I thought just easy, get them in so they're over there and the staff can start using them, and they're within the electricity area as well, so that is all good. Cool. So I want to start thinking about the layout of this sort of opening plaza here. So as I say, I'm going to have like a building that comes around here in the future. So I want to make sure that I don't build too far past this area here because I don't want to lose that. So my corner of this building is going to be an information booth. So I want people to come into the zoo, and they're going to immediately be greeted with the information area. So they can purchase their guides, they can do this, that, and the other, get all their information up front. So I'm just going to place him in there. Again, it may be overkill at this stage. We may not need it, but I just want to make sure I've got it in there so that I don't lose track going forward. And then that's going to allow me to understand where I can build further down the line. Cool. So now that we've got our staff in, we've got most of our staff buildings, and we've got our information center, we know where we're going to build. Let's have a look at where we want our paths to go. So I'm going to come in here, and I'm not going to align to the grid anymore. I just want to sort of free flow it. I'm going to use an 8-meter wide path, and then I'm just going to come off on this corner in a place that looks relatively reasonable. That looks a bit messy. That's not going to be too bad. Yep, so that's going to be good. And then I just want to bring this path round. And yeah, this is going to be kind of the starting sort of path network. So again, you kind of start envisaging it, floating people, but you'll come in, there'll be a nice sort of welcoming building here with some toilets, some information, and then you'll be able to walk through into the beyond and the wider zoo. So I just want to make this a little bit larger, just so we can get a feel of how we want the zoo to be positioned going forward. And I think that's not too bad. Oh, I've just realised, sorry. Mistake number one, rookie mistake number one, using staff paths. I thought it looked a bit weird. But anyway, We're getting there. We're getting there. Cool. So our initial paths are in, and we are just using the sort of standard asphalt at the moment. We'll probably upgrade these later, but look, I just want to get in and get something growing. So as I said at the start, the way I want this franchise mode to work is I want to work off of the land effectively. So we're in a European biome here, so I want to concentrate on European animals, and I want to keep them within their natural habitat, right? So within the Zoopedia, I just want to have a look at all of the European animals available to us. And there's a fair few, maybe not the most interesting of animals, but there's definitely some nice ones in here. And I want to kick things off with the red deer. So I think this is an amazing animal, particularly within the game. I think it's got a really nice look and really nice feel, and I feel like we can build some really nice enclosures using this animal in game. So yeah, I think we're going to kick things off here with the red deer. So if we look at their requirements, they don't actually need that much land, which is a bit strange to me because I think of deer, I think of like wide open spaces, massive forests. But anyway, so we'll give them more land than they actually require. But in terms of requirements, it's quite low. They don't need deep water. They don't need any water really. They don't need any climbing. And their temperature requirements are pretty good, particularly within the biome that we're working. And their boundary requirement is quite low as well. So they're not like an animal that's going to easily escape. They're not going to climb things, for instance. And if we look at their sort of group sizing, it's really good. So we can have 1 male and up to 8 females. So a group of 3 to 9 is probably going to be perfect. Yeah, they mate well. They live a fair bit of time. So I think we're going to get quite a lot out of this animal. And yeah, I think this is going to be a really good one. They can also live with the European fallow deer, which again we might look at in the future, but for now we're just going to focus on the deer itself. So anyway, so yeah, people are going to kind of come into the zoo here. So I want our first enclosure to sit on this corner, and just this is going to be a big wide open space for our red deer. So I'm going to jump into a time lapse to do this build. As I say, I'm not very good at this game at this stage. I'm still learning, so I welcome all of your feedback. But yeah, give it a few minutes. We will come back and we'll discuss what we've built. But yeah, enjoy the time lapse, guys. Okay, welcome back, guys. So you'll see we did a very sort of basic build. Let me know down in the comments what you think of this. This is my first attempt at sort of like a proper build for like a shelter within an enclosure. I'm really not a big fan of this, so I probably will come back and tidy this up at some point. But yeah, this is kind of like a basic build. So we've created this nice little fence that is going to go around the whole enclosure. I think this is probably big enough, but we've got scope to expand it should we need to. I just wanted to get something in just to get us started, get our animals in here. And then they've got this hard shelter now, so we obviously need to do our barriers, which I wanted to do while we were talking. But yeah, you probably would have seen me during the time lapse fiddling around thinking, can I build in some like stable areas and stuff? But I'm really just not that experienced at the moment. So we got the hard shelter in. I want to get your guys' comments down below of how we should decorate the inside of this barn, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, we can do that sort of in the next episode. So hopefully it's a good start. We obviously need to tidy this up as well. I want to do the trim around the doors, etc. as well. But you know, experience is just going to help do those kinds of things. So this is our initial enclosure at least. So you may have seen as well, we purchased our red deer. So for now we've gone for one male, one female. So let's quickly get them into the zoo. And I like to, I don't know if this is correct, I've seen it in some videos, but I like to put them straight into quarantine. Make sure there's no diseases, etc. So we'll get those guys in there, and then just quickly pause the game again while we finish this off. So yeah, I just want to grab our barriers and bring our knoll barrier all the way through. So obviously we've built our own sort of custom barriers, so we don't actually need to have start again. We don't need to have a proper in-game barrier in place here. So I want to make sure we're coming through here, and then for the rest of the barrier I just want to make sure that we're outside of the barrier that we've created ourselves, just because we don't want those silly warnings saying look, an animal's escaped when they really haven't. So let's just get this run all the way round. Like so, and then we can get our entrance, so our habitat gate placed in. Will this work with my path? Oh no, I knew I was going to break something. Let's try this. If I delete that, is this going to work? Are we going to stumble at the very first hurdle, guys? This should work. Okay, so we're hooked up to our keeper. So let's now see if we can get this hooked up. The paths in Planet Zoo really irritate me. Again, I probably just need to get a bit more experience with it, but I just find it so fiddly. But anyway, cool. So that's our enclosure enclosed, for lack of a better term. So now let's just quickly make sure we get some educational facilities thrown in. Obviously our animals are currently going through quarantine, so we want to make sure we get this in very quickly while they're doing that. Cool. Why is this not working now? So let's get one over here. It's really not liking me trying to bring that down. Why is that? Is it because I've got a line to surface? Yeah. There we go. So one there. I want these all along this path here where we've got, this is effectively going to be sort of a separate path for our people to come along and view our animals. I probably want to extend this path actually. So let's quickly delete this, and then again fiddly Planet Zoo path networks. So let's bring you off, and you're eventually going to come down here. Cool. And then this path is going to want to run parallel to this fence. Perfect. And then we can get our, actually just quickly hook you back in over here, and then we can finish off with our habitat educational board. Another one probably over in this corner now. Very nice. I like to lower them down so they're sort of level with the fences. Yeah, for me it just works. And then let's come into our guest facilities, and we want to come into find our donation boxes. So again, these really annoy me in terms of positioning, but small pains, big gains. One there, and then we'll put one over in this corner as well. So these are obviously going to generate all of our cash, or a lot of our cash. Initially in the early game is going to be very important. Yeah, so once we get the education going. So let's have a look. So our red deer are ready to leave quarantine. No issues have been found. So let's quickly move you guys into your new home. And while our keepers and vets are doing that, let's come into the habitat tab. And then if we filter to our red deer, we should be able to find the items that we need for this particular animal. So again, full disclosure, I've done quite a lot of research on the red deer, so I have actually unlocked quite a lot of the items. This may be the case for some of the animals in the zoo, so I do apologise if you wanted to see research taking place. I don't know if that's a thing within the community, but I have done some here and there. So yeah, there's not masses, just a few little bits. So let's bring a nice scarecrow in. I quite like the look of this guy. We will obviously decorate up as well with some trees, etc. I just want to bring in a small sort of water area over here. So that's going to do me quite nicely. I don't want anything too fancy. So let's just quickly paint this. Oh no, paint as, let's go with rock. See if our deer mind the rocks. And then let's quickly just smooth out some of these nasty edges. Again, terraforming in this game I don't find particularly appealing. It's not great, but it does a job. Cool, so we've got a nice little water source in here as well for our deer to come and get their water. We're going to need to give them some food, so let's give them a nice large food trough, and I kind of want this over here so our guests can see in. They're going to need some bedding, so I kind of just want this sort of like hanging out of here, so maybe a few large ones just to fill this area up. That's going to be quite nice. Again, we'll probably decorate this at some point once we've got a bit more experience in what we're doing. Have like a barn door on here, some windows, etc. But this is going to be good for now. So our deer are settled. Let's have a look at what they need. So they want a lot more short grass. They want less long grass, which is good. They're absolutely fine with their navigatable land area. They've actually got probably just over three times as much as they need. So we're in a good spot. So let's just quickly give these guys a bit more short grass, get rid of some of this long grass that we've got in here. So navigatable area will obviously reduce because we're going to introduce some trees, etc. into this area. Cool, so yeah, in terms of terrain, they are now sort of happy. We'll keep an eye on that short grass just to make sure. They do need some more enrichment, so they're on 100% on food enrichment, which is great. So let's just give them some toys to play with. So again, if we come in here, go to our enrichment items and our toys, what have we got? So we've got a nice scratching tree, so let's place you over the back. It's going to look quite nice. And then another little scratching tree. So I'm going to place this one next to the water. Again, once we decorate this up in a bit more detail, that's going to look really cool. And then why not give you a rubbing pillar as well? Who doesn't love a good rub? So let's place you in sight. So that's going to be nice over there. And then maybe just a nice little ball. It's probably a bit too big. A grab ball might be quite nice just over here. Perfect. So let's get our education boards loaded with the red deer. So our guests can now come in and know that they are looking at the red deer. Very nice. Excellent. So we've got our first enclosure, guys. We made it. We did it. So you're probably all sitting there, you Planet Zoo aficionados, absolutely screaming at your phones, TVs, etc. At my building. But like I say, I'm here to learn. I'm just really enjoying playing this game, so I'm looking forward to getting some feedback from you guys, and getting some tips and tricks, and really developing my gameplay. So yeah, let me know what you think of this first enclosure. I think our deer are quite happy at the moment. We are going to decorate this up a little bit, but yeah, they look quite happy. Everything's sort of there or thereabouts. Social. They could do with another sort of adult joining the group, which we'll do, and obviously nutrition as well. We'll deal with the meal quality once our money's a bit more stable. But we've got people coming in now, so they're going to come in, they're going to enter, get their information, and then they can immediately jump over and see the red deer, which is great. So yeah, I'm now going to step away and do a bit of a detailing time lapse, just get some detail in and around this enclosure, this habitat. So yeah, I'll be back in 2 seconds. Okay, welcome back, guys. So, yeah, I did a little bit of detailing, not masses. To be honest, I feel a bit embarrassed with what I'm actually presenting to you, but I'll say it again, we're learning. Yeah, so we just added a few little reeds in here, bit of decoration within the water. It's a tiny little water source, mostly for drinking. Added some sort of foliage around the base of a few trees that we've added in, just to add a bit of height definition within the enclosure itself. So yeah, nothing sort of major going on. I've left some space over here because I want to have a little think about what I want to do off screen. I'm thinking maybe some like fallen trees and logs sort of sitting over here. But yeah, for now, I think this is going to do us well. And then I just started decorating up the sort of outside area as well. So I pulled some trees right down to create some bushes, and then added some additional bushes and foliage. And similar over here, so added some sort of larger trees. I just dumped in like a few random variations of trees just to get a feel for what we want. Eventually what we'll probably do is select like a specific type of tree and go with that throughout the zoo, but for now I just wanted to kind of mess around with some ideas. So yeah, I think this is looking okay. So this sort of theme is what we're going to be going for, sort of very bushy, very green trees throughout the zoo. So yeah, that's kind of a start for us, guys. So we've got our red deer, they're looking very happy over here, our nice first enclosure. We're going to build out this sort of entranceway next episode, and probably get another habitat in as well. But yeah, so that's kind of just kicking us off with the new series, guys. So look, I'm going to repeat it again. I'm going to repeat it a lot throughout this series, guys. I'm new to this. I'm loving the game, really enjoying it. But as a community, give me some tips, give me some tricks. What can we do? How can we improve things? What do you want to see from this franchise mode series that we've got going on here? Yeah, we're going to be in this together, and we're going to run through it as a community. So look, anyone who's been with the channel during the City Skyline stuff, let me know what you think of the Planet Zoo stuff as well. Any big Planet Zoo players that we've got out there, let me know your thoughts on the game, what you want to see improved, etc. Have a look at my City Skylines content as well. Check that stuff out. Hope you enjoy it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this series. I'm looking forward to this franchise. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. Let's catch up on the next episode. I hope you'll have an amazing evening, morning, afternoon, night, no matter where you are in the world. Thank you all very much for tuning in and bearing with me. Have an amazing time. I will catch you all on the next one.